My 2009 Nissan Murano has had this rear wheel bearing going out for a really long time, and today it's finally time to address that. Also, the brake pads, well, they don't exist, so we're going to be putting new brakes all around the entire car as well. But since the wheel bearings come in a kit of 2, I'm going to be replacing the one on this side, and I might as well do the one on that side as well. It's just cheapest, get them done now. Don't have to worry about it going bad in the future. This is kind of an unfair spot to start the video today because I've already been at this for like an hour and a half. My car has 198,000 miles on it. Things are not going to go as well during the repair as they might if it had 80,000 miles on it. So, it took me forever to get this wheel bearing unstuck from the hub and to actually pull it out, but I have accomplished that. The old wheel bearing is very dirty and heavy and right here, and although it doesn't wobble from side to side, up and down, or etc., it is very bad. It's sticky, it's stuck, it's hard to turn, it makes an awful lot of noise. So here we have the new wheel bearing. It is stiff, but it feels really good. It's nice and shiny. Got the new wheel studs there as well. So we're actually going to get everything lined up. We're going to push it back in and kind of get this set. So there are torque specs on this, which I do have a torque wrench, but these are 177 foot-pounds. We will get the Murano put back together today, at least on this side with the bad bearing, and hopefully we can get to the brakes all around the car in the bad, or I should say the other bearing on that side of the car, even though it's not bad. I actually don't have time to be doing this repair right now. We've been like insanely busy and insanely swamped, and things are starting to ramp up even more. We drive it maybe 500-600 miles a week, so this bearing really had to be done, but I couldn't get a shop to do it. And although that's not the cheapest option, it might have been the best option time-wise. I'm gonna have to do it myself, so that's what we're doing today. And I'm not doing a repair video on that because it just takes too much time to do so. So, in the description below, I have a ton of repair videos linked to help you accomplish the same thing on your Nissan Murano, Rogue, Altima. They're kind of all the same deal on all the same platforms. So, if you are looking at this video for a repair video, click one of the links in the description below. I unfortunately also broke the speed sensor down here and I cannot get it unstuck, which is a really bad thing. They're like 20 bucks, so I might be replacing that in a future video. Hit the big red button below. I'm also going to put the torque specifications for this repair in the description below, but the back 4 bolts are like 65 foot-pounds. This one's 177. Caliper ones are like 122, and then the wheel lug nuts on this car are 80. So nice and simple. We're going to torque these ones in the back now. Here are the new brake pads and rotors for this car. I've had them a really long time, and I haven't even looked at them, got them out of the box. So I really hope they're the right ones. Okay, and then here are the new rear brake rotors. So this is the rear passenger side rotor. Nice and shiny, drilled and slotted. Maybe a little bit overboard for our Murano S, but these will last a long time and they will definitely be a lot better than the old, completely gone pads and kind of worn out rotors on this car. Definitely cannot machine these rotors because of the grooves that not having pads on the brakes have left. Unfortunately, I should have done this like 7,000 miles ago instead of waited, but I bought the car with the brakes completely worn out. I hope that they are not OEM brakes, but you never know. Some people just don't ever change their brakes. So today, this car is getting a good brake job along with the bearings. We're actually also using some super nice Z16 ceramic brake pads, which, you know, there's a little bit of controversy between ceramic and metallic. Once you use ceramic, you can never go back to using metallic unless you put a new rotor on or machine the rotor or something like that. Which is fine, because really you should do that every time you change the brake pads anyways. Now we're on the other side, and I actually have everything taken apart. It's amazing how much quicker something goes when you've done it once. This is the old bearing, and it is actually good. There's no slopper play. There's no weird dry grinding noises. But of course, this bearing has almost 200,000 miles on it, so we're going to set it aside and we're going to put a brand new one on. Love these brand new ones because they come pre-studded for the wheels. This feels so much tighter and better, like it's not all dry like this old one was. So we're going to go ahead and swap this old one out for the new one, which this is actually a pretty easy repair. If you're someone that, occasionally works on cars, if you can do brakes, you can do this repair right here and save yourself thousands of dollars. So again, click the link down in the description below. There's an awful lot of videos on this to help you out, and of course, order a decent wheel bearing, a good part. These are around, 35 to 70 bucks. So not a super expensive repair if you can do the work yourself. Fortunately, we do not have to replace any bearings in the front of the car, at least to my knowledge. This side, I checked it, it was good. When I bought this car, however, I knew that it was going to need a brake job very soon. The brake pads in the back really weren't, terrible. They still had a little bit of meat left on them. However, the brake pads in the front, because they're the ones that do most of the braking, are completely worn out, and there's absolutely no pad left. In fact, it was so bad that it was metal on metal, and the rotor actually has kind of a deep groove in it, which unfortunately for me means that I can't have the rotors machined. I have to buy new rotors for this car. A few months ago, I was talking to one of our employees saying, yeah, I need to do the brakes really soon on the Nissan Murano. It was cold outside, and I didn't have the time, so I just said, well, I'll probably wait till it's summer to do so. I've been super busy, unfortunately. Now it's almost the end of the summer, but we are finally getting to the brakes. He told me, he said, well, I don't think the brakes actually need done because they don't feel that bad. Guys, you cannot tell when your brakes need replaced necessarily based on how the car is braking inside. That holds true to an extent. Yes, you might be able to tell if your rotors are warped because the car is shaking. You know, for example, if your car shakes violently when you brake, then your rotors are probably warped, and it's time to do the brakes to get them machined or to put new rotors on. Now, you might also be able to tell if your brake pedal sinks all the way to the floor and there's a lot of travel there, or they feel super squishy, or they just don't feel adequate. It might also be time to do your brakes. Now, he was right. Driving this car felt absolutely fine. It brakes pretty good, except it does seem to catch at the last minute sometimes, almost like it has air brakes, but it really worked very well. But let me show you the difference in the pads. This is the original pad that's on the car. This is the new pad that is going on the car. Guys, you can't always tell that your brakes need done based upon how the car is braking. You need to pay attention to the thickness of your pads, because this right here, should it wear down any more, could potentially become a very dangerous situation, especially if this pad were to get frozen to the rotor and seize up. My goodness, it always takes a while to put away all the tools from a repair like this, especially because I like to wipe down everything that I use to keep it nice and clean for the next time. But we are done with the Murano. I'm going to go inside myself and get cleaned up, and then we're going to come back out, we're going to burnish the brakes, we're going to give it a quick test drive. One thing that I highly recommend, especially if you're going from no pad to a full pad, you need to check your brake fluid. If it is overfilled, go ahead and get your transfer pump out, remove some of that from the system so that your brakes don't pressure up too much and get locked on. You can always add a little bit back through the test drive process. This right here is the reason that I tell you to do that. So as you compress those calipers back in, brake fluid of course is going to backflow into the system, but the problem here is when somebody's noticed that their brake fluid is low because the pads are also really thin. So they go ahead and they add fluid. Now there's too much fluid in the system. So typically this will level back out as we pump those calipers back out. But especially with this car where the pads are so low, I'm gonna go ahead and remove some of that and then keep some .4 on hand, because more than likely the system is overfilled. It'll pressure up too much, it'll lock those brakes on, and it'll ruin our rotors pretty quickly if that's the case. I'm editing the video on this Murano and I realized that I did not film an ending to it. Obviously it's several months later, it's in the middle of winter, the new brakes have been amazing, and it is so nice not to have that dry bearing noise from the back of the car. It's been running and driving great, and I'm very happy with the way the repair went. If this video helped you out in some way, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. We're super grateful for the support here on the channel. And as always, if you have a question or a comment, be sure that you drop that down below, because I reply to all of them and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And I think that's it for this video. So with all of that said, get out, enjoy your automotive ownership, go check the thickness on your brake pads, and I'll catch you in the next video.